Hi, welcome back to my channel, This Awkward Life. Now, I know this isn't the video I promised was coming this week, but after filming part of that video, I realized it would be a better video to do after we have homeschooled for a little bit so I can show you more what I'm talking about instead of just talking about it. So instead, I am doing this video, and it is how much we're spending this year homeschooling. Now, a few things before we get started into it. First off, people can homeschool and spend a lot more money, and people can homeschool and spend a lot less money. Some of these things weren't the cheapest options to go with, but I'm going to show you what we spent, and then I will break it down by category, by both grades that I'm doing, and then family subjects. I will also explain family subjects and also how after you've homeschooled for a while, you can actually start saving money, and some of the curriculum that I bought this year will be used in future years, which obviously eventually makes it a little bit cheaper. So to start off, I'm just going to give you the total in case that's all you really care about. And we spent around $515. So not exactly cheap, but when you divide it between two kids, and then, like I said, we will use this and stuff in the future as well. So I'm going to break it down by grade, and I'm going to start with my first grader. So for my first grader, I got him math for $50. We use Sick and the Beautiful math. I have like a whole video on what we use, so I'm just going to give the course and not necessarily who it's from. Language arts was $57, and that will teach him reading, grammar, phonics, all of that stuff. And then handwriting, so to practice his print, was $13. And then I spent $15 on reading books for him. We obviously have tons of books for Aubrey to read and stuff, but we didn't have any like beginner level reading books that were going to be using the words that he knew how to sound out, or anything like that. We didn't really have anything at that beginning level. We have little kid books and we have chapter books, but we don't have like readers, if that makes sense. So that is what I spent for him, and that equaled $135. So then for Aubrey, who is going into 5th grade, I got her math used. We are using Math UC for her this year, and I got it for $34.50 off of eBay. That is a lie. It was not off of eBay. I think it was off of Buy Sell Trade. Yes, it was off of that. Language arts was $63.96, and that does teach a little bit of geography. It has art, it has grammar, writing, spelling, and I believe there's another subject in there. So 5 to 6 subjects for that amount isn't that much when you could, a lot of people buy the spelling book individually, and then they buy their language arts individually and all of that stuff. So once, it sounds like a lot for a language arts program, but once you add in all the stuff that continues in that course, it's not that bad. Handwriting for her was $15. And then I got her a planner. Now that was completely unnecessary. I just wanted her to start learning how to use a planner, and start being a little bit more independent. She also really likes to know what she has to do, and she's always asking like, how many more things do I have to do? What things do I have to do? So this way she can just mark them off herself and keep track of what she's done for the day, and instead of constantly asking me. I think she'll genuinely enjoy that. So not necessarily necessary, but I did get that for her. And then geography, so we're using, for the first half of the year, we are using Our Father's World. I bought it used last year for $169, and we used half of it last year, and we're using half of it this year because I had other things I wanted to use last year, and I have other things that I want to study this year too. So I didn't dedicate a full year to it. I dedicated half a year both years, so you could add in more stuff for the kids to study. So if you break that down by this year, it would have been $84.20 this year, even though we didn't technically buy it this year. So for that, we have about spent $214 for Aubrey. All right, and then we are going to go into our family subjects. Now I buy a multi-level history, so it can be used for Aubrey or for Kane, and then you just print off the workbooks in their level. So Aubrey has a harder workbook, Kane has an easier workbook, and then I just read the history out loud, and then they do their workbooks on their level. So that being said, that was $77.97. And then I got a health class that is the same. It's for multiple levels. So Kane and Aubrey will do that this year. And that was $22. So that was about $100 there. Also got myself a planner. I personally think that's a necessity. I could have only spent $34 on it. I ended up spending $60 on it because I got all the accessories, stickers and like pen holders and all like the little extra stuff that I didn't really need, but they were on sale, so I tricked myself into buying them. So that was $65 of that. So to go back and talk about our family subjects and the subjects that we will continue to save and use money on, history is one of them. So since Kane is in first grade, he will probably get the most use out of the history. So there are 4 levels to the history that we got this year. So we're using history 1, then there's history 2, history 3, and history 4. Kane will repeat this course 3 times. So he will do 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th grade, and then he'll start over at history 1 in 5th grade, and he'll do 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then he will start over for high school 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So he does it 3 times, and then each time you just print off the harder level. So he repeats the 4 books 3 times over the course of till he graduates. So once we buy all 4 history books, which is going to take us 4 years, then we won't have to buy history again. So if we really love it and we stick with it, Aubrey will use it twice because she's going into 5th grade, and Isaac will use it 3 times as Kane has, and it just kind of works its way from there. So if you have more than 1 kid, if you buy something you really love, like a history course, and it's a multi-level history course, you end up saving money over time because those are things you don't have to buy again necessarily. The same with the health course. Obviously, Kane and Aubrey are doing it this year. I can repeat it for Kane when he's older because if you want to know what's in the health course, it's in our videos, which I will link down below, saying what they're using this year. So he can repeat it when he's older and will be able to remember more of it. Isaac will be able to use it again. Same with a lot of science courses. So for Aubrey's science and geography, I will use that for Kane when he is in 4th and 5th grade, and also Aubrey is supposed to repeat it between 7th and 8th grade. So she'll get 2 uses out of that. Kane will get 2 uses out of it. So those are things that I won't necessarily have to buy, and in the long run kind of save you money. When it comes to math, Kane's math, which was about $50, you will have to buy that each year for each child. It's not a math book you can reuse. Aubrey's math book, if I'd have gotten it originally, would have been, like I said, about $100, and you can use the teacher's key and the DVD multiple times. However, you still have to buy them the workbook, which is between I want to say $30 and $40 for each student that uses it. So you do get to save a little bit of money there, depending upon your math program, but those are kind of consumable books that you'll have to continue buying for each of your children. The same with handwriting and language arts. At least the courses I use, they're not something that can be shared over multiple students, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to take a step back and I'm going to talk about younger grades, because when you're like $514 to homeschool, that seems like a lot. Yes, it can be a lot. It adds up. However, I have heard this year that a lot of people are having to pay sign-up fees for school, and when you break that down by your child, that helps a lot. And if you're doing preschool and kindergarten, it's a lot cheaper. I think for Kane, for kindergarten, we spent around $40, and for Kane for kindergarten, we spent around $60. So I did not think any of those things were very bad. First grade also is not technically very expensive. You could do first grade for $135. Since he has an older sibling to do the history with and to do this health course with, I am going to have him do it this year. But if he were my oldest child, the company, The Good and the Beautiful, if you get on their website, they suggest waiting to start history and like science courses until 2nd grade if you do not have older kids for them to do it with. So Kane starts this year because he has older siblings, but if I had started homeschooling Aubrey in 1st grade, she would have waited until 2nd grade to do the history course. It's just how they do it. They say it's, you know, they're not going to retain a lot of history this year. You know, it's mostly just sitting there and listening and doing a few fun worksheets, versus as they get older, they kind of comprehend it more and can understand a little bit more. So hopefully that all makes sense. Like I said, this is for 2 kids. That includes my planner, my stuff in there. A few extra things that I just chose to do this year that I would not have necessarily had to do. And like I said, programs, depending upon your program, you can spend a lot more money than we did, or you could spend less money than we did, depending upon how you do it. A lot of the Good and the Beautiful items, they will let you purchase a PDF copy and you can, for cheaper, and you can print it yourself, but they come in such high quality when they print them for you that it's better for us at this point just to have them send us the physical copy of the books, because they're done in higher quality paper, better ink. It just looks a lot nicer. So we just do that. It's already spiral bound, a lot less work for you physically, which is always nice as a mom. So I lost my voice there. Ugh. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and hopefully my explaining like how the history courses will get used over time and technically become cheaper, because you can divide the $77 by how many times you use the history course, which for us, with this baby coming and another baby coming, will be quite a bit. So hopefully this all makes sense. Sorry if I rambled, but I'm gonna go eat lunch because I am starving, and then I'm going to edit this video.